When panel layouts require that seams intersect at a T, it is permissible to continue welding through the intersecting seam. However, after the welding, there are two options to ensure that the T-seam is isolated: using a bead weld or using a patch. For both methods, trim away a small portion of the seam flap on each of the three panels near the intersection. Ensure that you leave a small flap tab. At this point, none of the flaps are isolated. To isolate each flap, grind through the squeeze-out bead about halfway through the weld track of the top panel. Complete this process on all three seams. Using a multimeter, check for conductivity on all three seams by placing the multimeter leads underneath the exposed flap on either side of the isolation grind. During this process, ensure the multimeter is set to the resistance setting with auto-ranging turned on. If any conductivity is detected on the exposed flap, continue to grind along the trimmed portion of the weld track and retest until the multimeter displays OL, indicating that the section has been isolated. For additional instruction on isolation testing, please watch the isolation testing video or reference the GSE Leak Location Conductive Installation Guide. Once all three sections have been isolated, grind along the perimeter of the T-seam. To use a bead weld, use an extrusion welder to install a bead along the entire T-seam. To use a patch, cut your patch material so that it is wide enough to cover each of the grinded sections within the isolation sections. Next, follow normal patch procedures.